States. Bill Clinton, still one of the most popular politicians of the last half century in this country. We're here at the Port of Palm Beach, where he'll speak to a crowd we believe will be in the 400 to 500 people range. The idea here is to start a grassroots movement, the primary being just less than a month away. There's a debate at Miami-Dade College coming up March 9th as well, and this is to get people excited, but it's a public event too. This isn't an invitation only. So if you are a fan of the Clintons or just curious on a day off for many people, you can come here to the Port of Palm Beach and hear the ex-president speak on behalf of his wife. And again, the message is going to be that Hillary Clinton is the best person to lead this country into the next decade. Also, the best person to continue on the programs of President Barack Obama. And if you are thinking that some people might be upset that Hillary Clinton herself isn't coming today, you might be surprised at the reaction. Let's listen to that.
The energy, it's just sparkling. Everybody's just so enthusiastic to meet Bill. Love to meet Hillary, of course. But everybody is just so charged up.
They are so charged up, and they are lined up. As we said, this is supposed to start at 2 o'clock. We're told that the former president will speak for about 45 minutes. If you've watched Bill Clinton over the years, 45 minutes could easily last an hour. He has actually been, at this stage of the campaign, going after Bernie Sanders very hard. We expect to hear some of that. We expect a lot of enthusiasm. And as I said, there's a marching band here too. It's a pretty magical event. By the way, we're going to stream this event live at Wpbf.com, and I'll join you again when the event starts. We'll have more tonight at 5 and 6, and I'll see you later on in this newscast to give you just another preview before we start. For now, I'm Todd McDermott, live at the Port of Palm Beach. Paul, back to you.
Todd, thank you. The campaigner-in-chief back out on the campaign trail. And meanwhile, Republican candidate Marco Rubio is doing what he can do to win South Carolina votes. His rallies have consisted of heavy religious views. Rubio plans to be in South Carolina every day before Saturday's primary. Rubio has mentioned his loss in Iowa to Donald Trump, but is looking forward to winning in other states. And reminder here, Florida's presidential primary now 1 month away. March 15th, the deadline to register to vote, by the way, is tomorrow. And we will be following and keeping track of all the candidates this election season. You could like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. To join or start a conversation, you can tweet #TalkTo25. And other developing headlines today, the man accused of running over and killing a 5-year-old boy in Boynton Beach will remain in jail. Angela Rozier is live at the crash scene along Hypoluxo Boulevard.
That's right. Members of that victim's family, they were here earlier today, but they asked us not to show them on camera. They were here for this, to visit this makeshift memorial here full of teddy bears and roses where that crash scene ended. Now, the man who police say was behind the wheel appeared in court this morning, and so did the victim's family. Now, the victim's grandfather gave us this photo of his 5-year-old grandson. He tells us it was a difficult being in court this morning with the man accused of killing his grandson. Also there in court, 20-year-old Lex Eugene faces several charges, including vehicular homicide. Now, he is accused of hitting and killing that 5-year-old over the weekend. Now, the victim's grandfather says he is glad that the person accused of killing his grandson is behind bars, and he hopes he'll remain there. He says his grandson was his little helper around the house and will be missed.
This guy was going to be an engineer. He was very good with his hands and very great little kid. Never give you a problem. Now I just have to live with this for the rest of my life, to know what could have been and should have been.
Now, according to Boynton Beach police investigators, Eugene was speeding away from police near Minor and Summit Roads when he attempted to make a right turn and lost control. Now, that's when he hit the child. That child was rushed to a hospital where he later died. Again, we talked to the paternal grandfather in court today. He was also here at the scene. He says his grandson lives with him in Miramar. He was here in Palm Beach County over the weekend visiting his maternal grandparents. Right now, they said they're still devastated about the incident. Reporting live In your Lantana, Angela Rozier, WPBF 25 News.
Angela, thank you. Florida Highway Patrol is kicking off its hit and run awareness campaign today. The Bad to Worse campaign, as they're calling it, is set to educate drivers about what to do in a hit and run crash scenario. Last year alone, there were more than 92,000 hit and run crashes in the state of Florida, killing 186 people. Let's talk weather right now. Our Skycam network looks clear as we sit here, but it may change later this afternoon and into tonight. Taylor Grinda is joining us right now, and Taylor, some changes on the way for us.
That's right. You can already see the cloud coverage starting to move in, and we're seeing that especially down in South County, where some isolated rainfall making its way onshore. We do have a nice strong east-southeasterly breeze persisting throughout the day. So with that being said, moisture will continue to increase across the Florida Peninsula, and we will be tracking showers throughout this evening and even into tomorrow morning. Along the Treasure Coast all the way down through northern Palm Beach County, most of you are dry at this point in time, but the rain chances on the upswing as we head throughout the later afternoon and the early evening hours. Temperature wise, pretty nice out there. We're sitting in the low to mid range of the 70s, currently at 73 degrees in Port St. Lucie, 72 degrees coming in West Palm Beach. We're reaching for highs into the mid to upper range of the 70s, right around the average for this time of year, around a 20% chance for late day showers passing through. And also those rain chances go up heading into tomorrow. I'll have more details and the timing coming up in a few minutes.
Taylor, thank you. All new at noon today, a Delray Beach man is accused of running a dogfighting ring right from his home. Roy Bennett was in court this morning on 33 charges of animal cruelty. Police say they found 11 wounded dogs in his home, and there were signs that he was using them to fight in his backyard. The dogs are now recovering at Animal Care and Control. Ted White is working this story right now. You can watch for more on this story tonight at 5. Funeral plans are still in the works this hour after the sudden death of Supreme Court Judge Antonin Scalia. But as Lana Zach is reporting today, a political battle is brewing in Washington before Supreme Court nomination by President Obama.
Justice Antonin Scalia was arguably the brightest conservative legal mind in America, and the implication of his sudden passing on the upcoming elections could not be more profound.
We ought to make the 2016 election a referendum on the Supreme Court.
Less than an hour after Scalia's death was announced, the political jockeying began. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell declared this vacancy should not be filled until we have a new president. But it is the president's constitutional right to appoint a judge to the Supreme Court, and there is no exception for an election year.
I plan to fulfill my constitutional responsibilities to nominate a successor. There will be plenty of time for me to do so and for the Senate to fulfill its responsibility.
The Senate has the constitutional right to confirm or deny that appointee, something they may choose to do after the election, according to Senator Lindsey Graham on GMA.
When an election is over, the president wins. They have a chance to send qualified nominees of their philosophy to the Senate, and I will vote for them if they're qualified, even though I would not have chose them.
So who might President Obama put forward? Among the names being most discussed right now, that of Sri Srinivasanan, who was confirmed unanimously by the Senate to a circuit judgeship just 3 years ago. Srinivasanan would be the first Asian American on the Supreme Court. Lana Zach, ABC News, Washington.
Now to the very latest developments today in the fight against the Zika virus. Health officials in Florida have reported 20 cases of Zika virus in 8 counties across the state. 7 of those cases are in Miami-Dade County, 3 are in Broward. Meanwhile, a student at Florida International University says he came down with a very bad headache while he was in Haiti back in November. The medical student tells us the very next day, a rash suddenly appeared. It turned out that he indeed had the Zika virus. He and other FIU medical students are now going on another mission to Haiti in March to help educate people about the Zika virus, particularly pregnant women there. Hearings looking into the sinking of the El Faro cargo ship are set to begin tomorrow. That ship sank near the Bahamas after it got caught up in the storm, Hurricane Joaquin, killing 33 crew members on board. It is considered the worst U.S. commercial maritime disaster in decades. The hearings in Jacksonville are expected to address many unanswered questions, among them whether misconduct or ship negligence were involved. Well, you may be working at your perfect job right now and not even know it. Still ahead at noon, the clues that you might already have the job that's just right for you. And Peyton Manning is facing some off-the-field trouble after his Super Bowl win. The new accusations against the quarterback coming to light 20 years later. And you're taking a live look at the Port of Palm Beach, where Bill Clinton will arrive shortly. Doors are set to open in just a few minutes at 12:30. Our Todd McDermott is live on the scene. You're watching WPBF 25 News at noon.
accident.
People are talking about Steinger, Isco, and Green.
They got Mary $62,000 after her accident. And for Devonna, Steinger, Isco, and Green got her $1.2 million.
That's what I'm talking about.
800-561-1111. These days, life is busy, but amazing. From the sci-fi brilliance of technology to the existence of toast. We move at a crazy pace until this happens. Time for MedExpress. Walk right in, get the care you need, and get right back at it. MedExpress.
Yeah, I like it, I love it, I want some more of it. I tried so hard, I can't rise above it. I don't know what it is about that little gal's loving, but I like it, I love it, I want some more of it.
Win your share of $150,000, including a 2016 Alfa Romeo 4C. Qualify throughout February. Alfa Romeo awarded February 27th at Isle Casino Pompano.
I was driving in my Camry when I played the text.
When can I see you again?
I entered the location, 22 Beechwood Lane. The car rerouted me.
Turn left.
Told me where to go.
Turn right.
And I arrived 5.1 minutes later. Now, if only my car could tell me what to do next. Get a low 0% APR for 72 months on a new 2016 Toyota Camry. Toyota, let's go places.
Do you know of a family member, a friend, or a neighbor in need of home health care? At Whitsom's Nursing Service, our referred caregivers provide everything from bathing and dressing, personal hygiene, meal preparation, nursing services, and much more. Whitsom's Nursing Service has been providing quality home health care by matching the best caregivers with clients since 1992. Call Whitsom's for all your nursing and home health care needs or log on to whitsoms.com.
Car accident?
People are talking about Steinger, Isco, and Green, and here's what they're saying.
You guys are the best.
A perfect 10.
I would recommend your firm to anyone. I am very happy with the outcome.
That's what I'm talking about.
800-561-1111.
Time and Temp brought to you by Home Paramount Pest Control, the leader since 1939.
Covering Florida, state health officials are spreading the word about free and low-cost dental services at schools across the state. More than 65% of county health officials provide school-based programs that offer preventative dental services at no cost to schools, parents, or children. In 2014, the programs helped nearly 37,000 kids. The Florida Department of Health says cost savings over 3 years for those children is more than $2.3 million. We'll take a look at this stunning video of a very close encounter with several sharks from a GoPro camera right off Palm Beach. One of our viewers sent us this picture. One of the fishermen on board actually tossed the fish back into the water, and that's when you can see dozens of them, sharks, come to the surface. And a reminder, if you ever want to share any kind of incredible pictures or video with us, you can do that straight to our website, WPBF.com, under the You Local tab, and we may use them in a future newscast like we just did. Still to come today at noon, a federal investigation now underway because of a possible health hazard of artificial turf. The reason that health officials say it can actually affect athletes and even your child at a local playground. And the United States is looking to beef up its ranks with more female recruits. The steps they are taking this upcoming summer. You're watching WPBF 25 News at noon.
First Alert Skycam Network is sponsored by Home Paramount Pest Control.
Every story, I think about the people involved, and I think about the viewer who's sitting there wanting to make some sense of it. There's so many factors in keeping our families happy, healthy, and safe that we're giving you what you need to know about your neighborhood, your city, South Florida, the entire state, the country, the world, the most accurate, most informative newscast and forecast. I want to be that person who's looking out for you.
Watch Todd McDermott and Felicia Rodriguez on WPBF 25 News.
No two cancers are the same. Neither are any two cancer patients. That's why at Moffitt Cancer Center, we start with molecular testing and genomics to determine the most effective treatment plan to beat your cancer. One with the least side effects, so you can get back faster to the life you led before cancer.
I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. I did go through 6 months of chemo and 5 weeks of radiation, and at my 1-year checkup, my PET scan came back positive. I had to find the courage to fight again. My oncologist explained to me the innovative treatments that Moffitt has to offer patients. I came to Moffitt and I received treatment here, and I decided, you know what? I want to go back to where my life was given back to me.
So if you've been diagnosed with cancer, call Moffitt Cancer Center first to schedule an appointment. Or visit Moffitt.org to learn why hundreds of thousands of patients have chosen Moffitt as their partner in their battle with cancer.
Injured in an accident? Call 1-800-33-COHEN. At Cohen & Cohen, we are the professionals with more than 40 years experience in South Florida. We are Cohen & Cohen, attorneys at law. For a free consultation, call 1-800-33-COHEN.
When you're in pain, an hour seems like a day seems like a month. Resolute Pain Solutions offers same-day, next-day appointments for evaluation and treatment. Our pain management specialists have the knowledge and experience in state-of-the-art procedures to relieve pain and get you moving. Patients in pain no longer have to endure unnecessary suffering while waiting for an appointment. Resolute Pain Solutions. Stop hurting. Start living today. Visit resolutemd.com/TV.
You're watching WPBF 25 News at noon.
Welcome back. At least 24 people are dead and 8 people are missing after a missile struck a children's hospital in Syria. Up to 40 other people were hurt by this. Another nearby school building housing displaced refugees was also hit. Syrian troops have been on the offensive in northern Syria under the cover of Russian airstrikes. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia has launched a massive military operation that includes troops from 20 nations. The operation has been named North Thunder, and it features many Arab and Muslim countries. It is thought to be the largest operation in the region's history. The goal is to confront all challenges and maintain peace and stability throughout the region. This comes just 2 months after Saudi Arabia said it would form a coalition to fight terrorism. New tests are coming to Army recruiting offices this summer to accommodate female soldiers who are now approved for combat roles. Both males and females will have to run, jump, and lift items to qualify for a spot. More female recruiters will also be present to attract more women. Army leaders are now pushing for more women to become leaders. A scare at a rental car facility after an explosive device was found underneath the car. A mechanic at the New Mexico business found the bomb attached to the bottom of the car after it was returned over the weekend. Now, the building had to be evacuated as a bomb squad was called in to check it out. The FBI is now investigating. 2 men have been arrested after a police officer was shot in the head in Mississippi. The officer is in critical condition at this hour. He was chasing after 2 men who had just robbed this store Saturday night when one of them shot the officer in the head. The 2 suspects turned themselves in a few hours later. Police in Australia say they've made the largest liquid meth bust in their history. They seized nearly $1 billion worth of the drug that was brought in from Hong Kong. The drug was smuggled in with silicone bra inserts and art supplies. Police say the drug is by far the most dangerous drug currently on the Australian market. The link between artificial turf and cancer is finally being investigated. Crumb rubber, as it's called, is made from recycled tires, and it's a mixture of chemicals, and it's found on playgrounds and sports fields all across the country. There have been ongoing concerns about the link for years now after cancer cases were uncovered. And the federal government will review different turfs across the country and see what exactly this problem may be. Denver Broncos quarterback Peyton Manning has been named in a sexual assault lawsuit filed against the University of Tennessee. 6 women filed a federal lawsuit against the school last week, alleging that it condoned a hostile sexual environment. Documents released this weekend name an incident alleging that back in 1996, Peyton Manning rubbed himself on a female trainer while he was treating her. She was treating him. She sued Manning for defamation and settled in 2003. Sunday's NBA All-Star Game was one for the record books. The West beat out the East by a whopping score of 196 to 173. They don't really play defense in this game. It was the most ever in an All-Star game, by the way, points-wise. Other records included most points and a half and most three-pointers. Russell Westbrook was named All-Star MVP, and the man you're looking at right there, Kobe Bryant, a bit of a farewell tour for him. It will be his 18th and final All-Star appearance. He scored 10 points. Paul George scored 41 points, just 1 point shy of Wilt Chamberlain's record of 42. All right, turning now to your forecast. Taylor Grinda is tracking the chance for rain later today. Big changes coming our way here.
That's right, Paul. And we're already starting to see those changes take place right now due to that nice, strong east-southeasterly breeze. Moisture is moving across South Florida, and with that, we are seeing isolated shower chances moving into southern Palm Beach County. Most of this activity is actually west of the Turnpike at this point in time and dying out, but as we go throughout the day, rain chances will continue to be on the upswing. The Treasure Coast and all the way down through northern Palm Beach County, we're dry at this point in time, but the cloud coverage will hover throughout this afternoon and be on the increase later on this evening. So here's updated future track coming in between 2 and 3 o'clock. Looks like most of you are on the drier side, closer to 6, 7, even 8 o'clock this evening. That's when I do think that we will start to see scattered to isolated showers start to approach the Treasure Coast, Vero Beach, down through Martin County and Jupiter, and we will hang on to the cloud coverage through the overnight hours. But the main threat and concern will actually be early tomorrow morning. Rain chances continue to be on the uprise, and also you can see this line starting to approach, all associated with the cool front by 7, 8 o'clock, even 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Again, the Treasure Coast, the main focus for early tomorrow morning. So just to break down the rain chances for you, later on this evening, we're looking at around a 20 to 30% chance for scattered showers passing through. That increasing into early Tuesday morning. Once that cool front does pass through during the early afternoon hours of Tuesday, much drier air will start to filter in. We're looking drier for the second half of Tuesday and Wednesday through the remainder of the week. That dry air is here to stay with plenty of sunshine for the remainder of the week. So hour by hour, temperatures are going to max out into the mid to upper range of the 70s. Again, around a 20 to 30% chance for showers passing through. If your plans do take you to the beach, it's a little bit rough with area surf knee-high and rip currents, dangerous and in the high range. It's also a little bit breezy out there with southeast winds persisting and gusting up to 25 miles an hour at times. Also keep your eyes on the sky for any kind of rain passing through. Small craft advisory is in place for boaters. Still rough out there, 5 to 7 foot seas and choppy on the inland waterways. Here is South Florida's most accurate 7-day forecast. Once we get through the first half of Tuesday, the actual drier air will start to filter in, and the rest of the work week, once we get into Wednesday, beautiful sunny skies with temperatures into the mid-70s.
So we like to hear, Taylor. Thank you. Well, you can stay on top of any weather changes in your area with our free mobile, free to download in your Google Play or Apple Store on any mobile device. A university and theater group have teamed up to tackle the bully problem in schools. Researchers at the University of Iowa worked with the theater group to make an online bullying toolkit. It is aimed to help educate teachers on how to handle bullying-related incidents. The art-based program is designed to appeal to students and their emotions.
We want them to really focus on bullying, which is an emotional experience, and turn the communication towards a more positive interaction rather than bullying.
The online program will also talk about cyberbullying, what to do if you witness it, and building friendships. Most Americans spend a large part of their lives trying to find that perfect job. Well, Forbes has come out with a list on what they think are signs that you're working at the right place. Respecting your boss, feeling appreciated, and trusting your coworkers made the list. Also, having a job that challenges you and the ability to suggest improvements, and believing in your company's mission, and of course, having a safe and healthy work environment. All signs you want to look for. Here's a look at what's coming up today on WPBF 25. General Hospital at 2, Dr. Oz at 3, and Ellen is on at 4. She's going to sit down with Kate Hudson, Demi Lovato as well. Will be on the show today. I'm Paula Groen with Taylor Grinda. You're watching WPBF 25 News at noon.
Nearly 50% of Americans are affected by disruptive snoring or sleep apnea. Are you one of them?
I'm Dr. Schiffman. With our non-invasive NightLaze laser snoring treatment, we can help. Sleep better tonight. Call us today for a free consultation.
If I were hurt by someone else's negligence, I'd call Rubenstein Law.
If a careless driver injured me, I'd call Rubenstein Law.
I call Rubenstein Law.
Rubenstein Law got $300,000 for one of their clients who hurt their neck and back.
Rubenstein Law recently got a client $475,000 for injuries from a fall.
If I were you, I'd call Rubenstein Law.
I'm attorney Robert Rubenstein. Call me. I want to be your attorney.
If you've been hurt, call 1-800-FL-LEGAL.
Make your home improvement dreams a reality at the West Palm Beach Home Show, February 19th through the 21st at the South Florida Fairgrounds. Check out the kitchen showcase, hot tub blowout sale, and the outdoor living showcase. Learn from experts in remodeling, general contracting, and so much more. And one lucky winner will receive $10,000 to spend with our expert exhibitors. For more information, visit westpalmhomeshow.com. Free admission to the West Palm Beach Home Show is sponsored by Southeast Spas and the Home Mag. No purchase necessary. Sweepstakes rules at westpalmhomeshow.com.
I got 2 goals!
And you got too much sun. The sun takes its toll, drying and burning. We use Sunburnt Advanced After Sun Gel. Sunburnt combines aloe with nature's best hydrating and healing ingredients. And it's non-sticky. Sunburnt Advanced, much more than aloe.
For top quality floors at rock bottom prices, come to Floor & Decor.
If you haven't been to Floor & Decor before, this is the time to go.
Wow, I cannot believe this selection.
I can get great prices at Floor & Decor every single day.
Tile, porcelain, slate, hardwoods, laminates. They've got every option that you can possibly imagine.
For the price, for the quality, to me it's a no-brainer.
Run, don't walk.
Trust me, go. Floor & Decor. 5 South Florida area locations.
After a car accident, money talks.
That's why people are talking about Steiger is going green.
They've helped clients get more money for their accidents.
Like how much are we talking?
30, 40, even 50 times more.
Whoa, get this.
They got Diane $1.9 million after her car accident.
$1.9 million? That's what I'm talking about.
Money for her medical bills.
Money for her family.
Money for her peace of mind.
It's no wonder.
People are talking about Steiger is going green.
800-561-1111.
Nearly 50% of Americans are affected by disruptive snoring or sleep apnea. Are you one of them?
I'm Dr. Schiffman. With our non-invasive Nightlaze laser snoring treatment, we can help. Sleep better tonight. Call us today for a free consultation.
Here's a look at some of the top stories we're working on for WPBF 25 News at 5. Check your Apple devices. Some charging cables might not work. The products just included in a brand new recall. Plus, we'll tell you why the government is now closing its investigation into airbag problems for some popular cars. Be sure to join us tonight at 5 for these stories and more.
All right, and here is one last look at your 7-day forecast. Warm today, that warming trend continuing through Tuesday, but also heads up. Rain increasing tonight through tomorrow morning, where we could see some heavy rainfall move through. By Wednesday, that drier air filters in, temperatures back into the mid-70s.
Isn't it incredible we're in the high 70s, and meanwhile in Massachusetts they were below 0?
Exactly. I'll take the 70s.
Yeah, that's nice. Well, your WPBF 25 News team will continue working through the afternoon on developing stories, and we'll see you again tonight at 5. Have a great day.
Thank you for watching WPBF 25 News, the only station bringing you live, local, late-breaking coverage and South Florida's most accurate forecast. On air, online, and on mobile. WPBF 25 News.
Don't let an insurance company deprive you of money in your injury case. As a lawyer who used to represent insurance companies, I know what it takes to get the money you deserve. Before you talk to them, talk to me.
Kibbe Wagner.
Trust experience.
We'll have you smiling again. Ferber Dental Group.
Struggling with dentures or delaying losing your teeth because you don't want dentures? The Ferber Dental Group can have you in permanent teeth without the need to wear dentures ever again. We can make this life-changing procedure affordable. So say goodbye to dentures and hello to eating the foods you love again. Call the Ferber Dental Group today, and we'll have you smiling again.
Now open in Boca and Lake Worth. With Empire Today's half price sale, our best sale. Get beautiful floors and professional installation for half price. That's carpet with installation, half price. Hardwood with installation, half price. Tile or vinyl plus installation, half price. And laminate with installation, half price. That's half price for your whole project. floors, and professional installation. It's Empire's half-price sale. Schedule now.
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today. Now, a golfer stung by a bee is back on par at the 18th hole. Now, an 8-year-old with bronchitis blows out candles at the party she nearly missed. Now, an accountant who broke her wrist is putting together the quarterly report. At MD Now Urgent Care, a physician is always on site 8 to 8, 365 days a year. For fast, affordable care, walk into one of our 25-plus locations in South Florida. So, why wait to get well soon when you can get well now? Visit MDNow.com to find a location near you.
Have you been injured in an accident? The law firm you hire can affect the amount of money you receive on your claim. The lawyers at Kippy Wagner have over 50 years of combined legal